People are always saying kids are expensive, but then they never elaborate on what that means. What is expensive? Is it the food? Is it the clothes? What are you talking about? And so for the sake of transparency, I'm going to share what I spent on my 4 kids this week. And I'm doing this because I think there's a lot of people who are choosing not to have kids or to have fewer kids because of the cost of them. And I think it's important we talk about it. Before we get started, I do want to acknowledge that I have 4 children. This is more than double the average number of children per family, and so I'm going to break down some of these costs per child. And so to start off, I'm going to start with our big ticket item. This is always the most expensive part of our week, and that is childcare. I have 2 kids in full-time daycare. They are in a preschool room and a pre-K room. That costs $78 per day per child, so that's $780 per week. And then we have 2 kids in elementary school who go to after-school care, and that's about till like 5:30, 5:45 in the evening, and that is $45 per day per child, so $450 a week. That combined is $1,230. But this week we also needed a babysitter one night. We went out for a few hours with friends for something we'd planned a month ago, and that cost $200 because we pay $25 an hour. We have 4 kids. Sometimes we even pay more than that, but this time it was $200 even. So total all in was $1,430 for childcare. Now that that's out of the way, we'll talk about groceries. This week we spent $227 on groceries for our 4 kids. This did not include any Costco trips or anything like that. This was just our standard grocery shop. It typically ranges between $225 and like $350, and so this was on the lower end. Now let's get into healthcare for a second. We have 4 kids, so we are at the doctors a lot. This week we had 3 doctor's appointments. So we had 2 well visits for my kids who had birthdays, and then we had a sick visit for my daughter. There was a $30 copay plus the cost for the strep test, which I think ultimately brought it to $70 total. We do probably have to bring her back today. We think she has an ear infection, and we're going to urgent care, and that is $45. And so all in, what are we spending? $115 on healthcare this week. Now I'm going to rattle off some rapid fire miscellaneous things that we had this week. We had vitamins for all 4 kids. That cost me $50 to restock. Then we had to buy bus passes. In our town, if you live too close to a school, so within 2 miles, this is a state rule, you have to pay for the bus. So we spent about $350 per child for the bus. We have 2 kids who need the bus for next school year, and so that was $700. Good news, I guess. They do cap you out at 3 kids. So when all 4 of my kids are in school, I will only have to pay for 3 of them, but it's still quite expensive. Sticking with the school theme, it is the end of the school year. So we just spent $125 on gift cards for the school teachers, just for teacher gifts to say thank you. And then we also bought new water bottles. Everybody basically destroyed theirs at school. And so I spent about $50 on new water bottles. So all in, that was about $2,697 for my 4 kids this week. Obviously, it was a more expensive week because of those bus passes. Our budget is going to change soon because we are going to summer camp and not childcare. And so it's always changing, but this is what we spent this week. And it does not include housing, utilities, insurance, or any of those things. This is just kid expenses.